on both sides. I'll still follow the DCMAM, the Don't Call Me After Midnight acronym. Distribute, combine like terms, move the variables to one side, add, subtract, multiply, divide. That's DCMAM. So on this one, there's no distributing. There's no like terms. When I combine like terms, let me separate my sides. I'll combine like terms on the left, and then on the right, there's no like terms on the left or on the right. So I can go to my third step, which is move the variables to one side. Guys, normally I'm going to move the lesser variable. So in this case, -6 is less than -3. I'm going to move it by adding it to both sides. So again, when I have variables on both sides, I want to move them to the same side. So, and again, when I do that, I do the opposite, and I move the lesser variable if at all possible. Bring down 7. -3 plus 6 is going to be a plus 3x. I'm going to subtract now, so I'm off to the add and subtract step. 1 minus 7 is -6. 7 minus 7, that's gone. Bring down 3x. Last step is divide. Remember, the last step is multiply, divide of DCMAM. DCMAM is just one way to kind of follow to solve equations. Other teachers might use different steps. I mean, essentially they're the same steps, but they might present it differently. So either way, I'm gonna leave that one be. This next one over here, sorry about this extra stuff, but anyhow, we have our problem there. Let's draw a line down from the equal sign to separate the left and right side. There's no distributing or like terms on the left, and no distributing or like terms on the right. I'm going to now move the variables to the same side. 2 is less than 6, so I'm going to move the 2x by subtracting 2x. Right, so it zeroes out. Bring down the 11. 6 minus 2 is 4. Bring down the 7. Next step is going to be subtract, so I'm going to subtract that 7, both sides. 11 minus 7 is 4. Bring down the 4x. 7 minus 7 is 0. My last step is divide. Divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And here it cancels, so x equals 1, or 1 equals x if you prefer. Let me keep moving along here with this. Next couple problems. These are all very similar. Actually, this one does have like terms here on the left. 1 plus 8, that's 9. So bring down the n. Well, plus 8 is 9. Here, these are also like terms. Excuse me. Negative 7n minus n is negative 8n. I'm ready to move my variables to one side. This is one where I'm actually going to move the greater variable, and that's just because I don't want to make any extra steps. 1n is greater than negative 8n, and normally I would move the lesser of the two variables, but the reason I'm going to move the greater variable here is because, let's see, cancel, bring the 9 down, negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. The reason I move the lesser variable is because if I don't, if I move the 8n this way, then I'm going to have one extra step where I, excuse me, where I move the 9. Basically, I don't want to add extra steps. I'd rather just have a negative number here than have an extra step. So 9 divided by negative 9 is negative 1. Here we cancel, we have n equals negative 1. Alright guys, next problem. There's no like terms here on the left. On the right there is, those are like terms. So left side, just bring it down, bring everything down. Right side, negative 8 minus 7 is negative 15m. Ready to move my variables to the same side. Hopefully you're noticing that a lot of these problems don't have every single step, right? Of the steps that were laid out for you, the DCMAM steps. You're not always getting every step, obviously. Negative 8 comes down, and negative 15 plus 7 is negative 8 also. Negative 8m, divide, was my last step. Divide both sides by negative 8. I forgot to put that line down, you guys. You definitely do that if it helps you. Negative number divided by negative number here is positive. Positive 1 is m. Or m equals 1. Getting a lot of 1s here doesn't matter. Ultimately, I'm still practicing in my skills, and it doesn't matter if I'm getting a lot of the same. So here, it looks like I should distribute first. On the left side, there's nothing to do, so I'm just going to bring that down. On the right side, again, like I said, distribute. Negative 6 times 1.2, that's negative 7.2. and then negative 6 times negative 6 is plus 36x. I'm going to go ahead and move the variables together by moving the 4x over. Subtract 4x to do that. Bring down the negative 3.8 over on. Okay, so from here, I'm going to add 7.2 on the A of DCMAM. I'm on A plus 7.2. That'll give me 3.4. So cancel. Bring down the 32x, and my last step is just to divide by 32. And I just think a calculator here makes most sense. You could definitely make it into a fraction. So using my calculator, I got 0.10625 is equal to x. Another kind of gnarly one. Anyhow, this one doesn't look too bad. No decimals. I'll start by distributing here. Negative 5 times k is negative 5k. Negative 5 times negative 4 is plus 20. 32 minus k, bring that down. Next thing I want to do is move my variables together. Negative 5 is less, so I'm going to move that one. It's less than, oh yeah, and then I always keep forgetting to draw that line, but I think it might be helpful. Plus 5k both sides. Remember, when you are adding your variable to both sides or subtracting, you're combining it with a like term. You're not just going to combine it with like 32. Bring down the 20, bring down the 32. Negative 1k plus 5k is plus 4k. Next step is the A of the steps, DCMAM. A is add or subtract, so minus 32 is my next step. 20 minus 32 is negative 12. And this is 32 is gone. Bring down the 4k. I don't know why I called it an x here, but it's supposed to be a k. Last step, divide by 4. And negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So k, dang it, k equals negative 3. Why I did that. So, go. Okay, so the last couple here, these problems G and H. This one with these decimals, definitely want to use a calculator. I'm going to start by distributing. 6.1 times 6, that's 36.6. And then 6.1 times that negative 8x, that's going to be negative 48.8x. Bring down that plus 6.3. Bring down the 3x minus 9.5. And again, the line down from the equal sign, try to use that if it helps you. My next step is going to be to combine these like terms. 36 on the left side. There's no like terms on the right, so nothing to do there. And anyhow, 36.6 plus 6.3, it's going to give us 42.9 minus 48.8x. Bring that down. Equals 3x minus 9.5. Make sure you bring that down. Next thing I'm going to do is move my x's together, so whichever one's less, I'll move over. As long as it doesn't create more work, I'll move over the lesser variable. So negative 48.8 is less. And as you work through these, you could do this. You could move the variables. Like in this case, I move the variables to the right, plus 48.8x. In that same step or that same line, you could actually move the constant to the other side, so you could just go, you could save a step and add the 9.5 at the same spot that you add the 48.8x. So 42.9 plus 9.5, that's what is that, 52.4. 52.4 here. This 48.8x will cancel. Oh, wait a second. It said 0.4, right? That should be 0.4. So fix that. Over here, the 9.5 zeroes out, but 3x plus 48.8x, that's going to be 51.8x. My last step is to divide by 51.8. So let's see what that is. Again, have a calculator handy. I went ahead and did my last step division on the calculator, and you can see the answer here. It's like 1.011. Let's just put 1.01. That'll that'll work. 1.01 is x. And I have one last equation here that I'm going to look at, right? Equation h. Let me try to separate these two, and let me get that where you can see it. So, equation h. Gonna go ahead and look at both sides here. There's nothing for me to do on the right, but on the left I can start by distributing. Here's my line. Negative 8n will come along down. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times a minus 6 is a minus 24n equals, bring down the 40 plus 4n. Now I'm distributed, but I'm going to combine these like terms. Negative 8n minus 24n, that's negative 32n. Bring down that plus 4, that's still right there. Bring down the whole right side, 40 plus 4n. Now I'm going to move my variable, the 32n, I'm going to add it. Whoops, that's 32n. Adding to both sides, and you know, like I said in the last problem, you could just, since if you're recognizing that you're moving the variables to the right, you can just move the constants to the left in the same step. So subtract 40, both sides. This negative 32n cancels out. 4 minus 40 is negative 36. 40 cancels. 4 plus 32 is 36. And last step, divide by 36. Negative 36 divided by 36 is negative 1. So n equals negative 1. Dang it, went off screen. Sorry about that. So there's that. And then I'm just going to let this be, but I am going to advise you guys that just to summarize, at least you can solve these equations by referring back to the acronym for steps, DCMAM. Don't call me after midnight is the way you can remember it. Don't call me after midnight, and remember it stands for distribute, combine like terms, move the variables to one side, add, subtract, multiply, divide. Thanks for having a look.